This video will make you to look at the concept of values from different perspectives. Some of these concepts I first encountered in Toney Robbins' book that's called Awaken the Gaint Within. By the way, it's a great book. I highly recommend you to read it. It really changed my understanding of human behavior and influenced me in a good way. It taught me that values guide our every decision and therefore our destiny. Those who know their values and live by them become the leaders of society. If we want the deepest level of life fulfillment, we can achieve it in only one way, by deciding upon what we value most in life, what our highest values are, and then committing to live by them every single day. Unfortunately, this action is far too rare in today's society. Too often people have no clear idea of what's important to them. They waffle on any issue. The world is a mess of gray to them. They never take stand for anything or anyone. If you and I are not clear about what's most important in our lives, what we truly stand for, then how we can ever expect to lay the foundation for a sense of self-esteem, much less have the capacity to make effective decisions? If you have ever found yourself in a situation where you had a tough time making a decision about something, the reason is that you weren't clear about what you value most within that situation. We must remember that all decision making comes down to values clarification. When you know what's most important to you, making a decision is quite simple. Most people don't know that, and thus decision making becomes a form of eternal torture. Who are the most universally admired and respected people in our culture? Aren't they those who have a solid grasp of their own values, people who not only profess their standards but live by them? There is power in individuals who congruently lead lives where their philosophies and actions are one. Most often we recognize this unique state of the human condition as an individual with integrity. In our personal and professional lives, as well as on a global front, we must get clear about what is most important in our lives and decide that we will live by these values no matter what happens. But we can't do this if we don't clearly know what our values are. This is the biggest tragedy in most people's lives. Many people know what they want to have, but have no idea of who they want to be. Getting things simply will not fulfill you. Only living and doing what you believe is the right thing will give you that sense of inner strength that we all deserve. Remember that your values, whatever they are the compass that is guiding you to your ultimate destiny. Not using your eternal compass intelligently results in frustration, disappointment, lack of fulfillment, and nagging sense that life could be more if only somehow something were different. So often people develop habitual patterns of behavior that frustrate or could potentially destroy them. Smoking, drinking, overeating, abusing drugs, attempting to control or dominate others, watching hours upon hours of television, and so on. What's the real problem here? These behaviors are really the result of frustration, anger, and emptiness that people feel because they don't have a sense of fulfillment in their lives. They are trying to distract themselves from these empty feelings by filling the gap with the behavior that produces a quick fix, change of state. This behavior becomes a pattern, and people often focus on changing the behavior itself rather than dealing with the cause. They don't just have a drinking problem, they have a values problem. The only reason they are drinking is to try to change their emotional state because they don't like the way they feel. We were children who didn't understand the importance of having a clear sense of our values, or adults dealing with the pressures of life, already distracted to the point where we couldn't direct the formation of our values. I must reiterate that every decision is guided by these values, and in most cases we didn't set them up. If I asked you to make a list of your top 10 values in life, to write them in precise order of importance, I would be willing to bet that only 1 in 10,000 could do it. But if you don't know the answer to this question, how can you make any clear decision at all? How can you make choices that you know in the long term will meet your deepest emotional needs? What if you were asked to move your family across the country in connection with a new job? If you knew that there was some risk involved, but the compensation would be better and the job would be more interesting, what would you do? How you answer this question will depend entirely on what's most important to you: personal growth or security, adventure or comfort. By the way, what determines whether you value adventure more than comfort? Your values came from a mixed bag of experiences, of lifelong conditioning through punishment and reward. Your parents congratulated and supported you when you did things that agreed with their values, and when you clashed with their values, you were punished either physically, verbally, or through the pain of being ignored. To value something means to place importance upon it. Anything that you hold dear can be called value. There are two types of values: ends and means. If I ask you, what do you value most? You might answer love, family, money. Of these, love is the end value you are pursuing. In other words, the emotional state you desire. Conversely, family and money are merely means values. In other words, they are simply a way for you to trigger the emotional states you really desire. If I asked you, what does family give you? You might say love, security, happiness. Similarly with money, I could ask you, what does money really mean to you? What does it give you? You might say freedom, impact, the ability to contribute, and sense of security. Again, you see money as merely means to achieving a much deeper set of values, a set of emotions that you desire to experience on a consistent basis in your life. Obviously, there are some emotional states that we will do more to achieve than others. In truth, we all have, as Toney Robbin calls it, hierarchy of values. The hierarchy of your values is controlling the way you make decisions in each moment. Some people value comfort over passion, or freedom over security, or intimacy over success. Take a moment right now and write down your own values and place them in order of importance. So what did you learn by doing this ranking? If I were sitting next to you, I could probably give you some quality feedback. For example, I would know a lot about you if your number one value was freedom, followed by passion, adventure, and power. I know you are going to make different decisions than someone whose top values are security, comfort, intimacy, and health. Do you think a person whose number one value is adventure makes decisions the same way as a person whose number one value is security? Do you think these people would drive the same kind of car, take the same kind of vacation, seek out the same profession? Far from it. Some people have learned that the way to have the most pleasurable emotions in life is to have a sense of control. So they pursue it with incredible vigor. It becomes the dominant focus of all their actions. It shapes who they will have relationships with, what they will do within those relationships, and how they will live. It also causes them, as you can imagine, to feel quite uncomfortable in any environment where they are not in charge. Conversely, some people link pain to the idea of control. What they want more than anything else is a sense of freedom and adventure. Therefore, they make decisions completely differently. Once you know what your values are, you can clearly understand why you do what you do and notice the patterns of your own behavior. Also, by seeing the hierarchy of your values, you can see why sometimes you have difficulty making decisions or why there may be a conflict in your life. If you make it till the end of this video, I am proud of you because now you are aware of the magnificent power of your values. This is your first step towards self-awareness, and I hope that I added some value to your life by sharing my knowledge and my thoughts. If so, please subscribe and leave a like. It helps me understand which types of videos you like most so I can make more of them. And thanks for watching.